What is up, everybody? Welcome to my channel. I'm here to give you your weekly tarot reading, Zodiac tarot reading. Keep in mind, these readings are general and they may not resonate with everybody. What I'll be doing is I'll be pulling one card for the general energy of the next week for each Zodiac sign, and then I'll pull another one for the love energy of the week. Everybody wants to know about love. Not everybody has love in their life. So let's go ahead and get started, shall we? All right, so let's see what is going on with Aries over the next month. What is up with Aries over the next month? What kind of energy will Aries encounter? What is going on with Aries over the next week? Oh, I always forget, you guys. Why don't y'all remind me? Okay, so the Knight of Swords is the energy you will be encountering this week. So you have a pretty decent amount of determination. Once you decide what it is that you want to do, you're going after it. No ifs, ands, or buts about it. You may even be a little bit too tenacious and have a tendency to kind of like run over other people's feet because you're ready to do what you got to do right now and you don't want to wait for anybody else to do what they got to do for you to do what you got to do. So if you got to do what they need to do what you got to do, you're going to do it. Did you follow all that? I don't know if I did. Anyway, you could come off as pretty harsh this week, but you're just like focused and you have no tolerance for anybody's mess. But unfortunately, and that's not necessarily a bad thing, but unfortunately this could possibly be taken to the extreme where like maybe you're snapping on people when it's not necessary. Okay, let's see what's going on in your love life, Aries. What is going on in Aries' love life over the next week? What do we got, Aries? What's up? Okay, you have the Magician. So here with the Magician, you may be, if you're single, you may be really thinking a lot about having a relationship, desiring a relationship, what it would be like to be in a relationship, kind of trying to manifest through law of attraction, I guess you could say. Maybe you think that the more you think about this, you'll be able to bring it into reality. In some cases, you may be just like really taking the time to get a really good idea on what you want from a relationship so that it will subconsciously come into reality, or so that you can actually actively recognize it when it does come into reality. Some of you may have already met somebody that you feel connected to. You feel very, very strongly with them, and in some instances, this may be somebody where like you finish each other's thoughts and whatnot. But at the same time, I think there can be a tendency to manipulate that situation somehow. Perhaps by being led to believe that something means more to you than what it really does because you have this connection, or the other way around. In which case, like, if this is something that somebody's doing to you, you probably won't respond very well to it. If this is something you're doing to other people, they probably won't respond very well to it. So it's probably not a decision to make at the moment. But, if you are in a committed relationship with somebody, I think that you may collectively trying to bring something, a goal that you have together into reality. And you're pretty determined to get shit done. Like for some reason, I am suddenly reminded of like construction on a house, you know, where it's like your significant other wants something done a certain way, so you hire somebody and you tell them what's what, and it has to be that way or else. You're determined to get the job done. So it's like you're determined to get the job done, you're determined to get things done, but could come off as the major dick in the process. All right, Taurus, let's see what's going on with you over the next week. What's up with Taurus over the next week? What kind of energy will Taurus encounter over the next week? Taurus, you have the Three of Pentacles here. So you may be working with other people to create something of value. I feel like you will benefit from collaboration with other people at this time. Some of these conditions may not be ideal. Like it may be a situation where you have to work with somebody that you don't get along with, or y'all aren't on the best terms, so you're inclined to not do it at all. You're inclined to say fuck this shit and just not work on it at all. But the reality is that the situation will benefit more um, from it being a team effort than from you letting your ego drive it and be like, I don't need y'all, whatever. Okay. If you have been going through some difficulty involving your interactions with other people, I think those things will be hammered out over time. You're going to be able to work through those things or talk them out. Let's see what's going on in your love life, Taurus. What's going on in Taurus's love life over the next week? Taurus, you have the Knight of Pentacles. So, with the Knight of Pentacles, if you are single, you may find that you're very frustrated at this time because your love life seems to be going nowhere. Um, and you're not happy about that. I think you're at a point in your life where you want to have a genuine connection with somebody, a serious connection. So it's extremely frustrating that you haven't found that person yet. It's just very extremely frustrating to you, and you feel like your love life isn't really going anywhere because you haven't really met anybody that I guess kind of lives up to your standards. Be careful that those are not unrealistic. It's good to have standards. It's good not to settle for less, but don't be so unrealistic like you're putting the bar higher than this person could ever reach. Um, if you are in a long-term relationship, things are going good. Um, if you and your partner have had disruptions, I feel like you guys are going to work it out. This is a card that kind of represents a steady relationship that it slowly develops over time, and it could happen very slowly, frustratingly slow. So that can be frustrating, as you can imagine. But at the same time, this is building something of value. This is laying the foundation for something that has more um, longevity, that can last the test of time more, if you will. So it's pretty good. Things are chill. They may even be a little boring. They may even be like boringly chill. Let's see what's going on with Gemini. What is up, Gemini? What is going on with my Jimmy Jim Jim? see what kind of energy Gemini will encounter over the next week. What's going on with Gemini? Gemini, you have the devil. So you may be overindulging this week. This could manifest itself in multiple ways. Be overindulging in food or a specific type of food, um, stuff that's not really good for you. Putting things into your body that's not really good for you but may make you feel good for a certain period of time. You may become so I guess addicted, if you will. You may crave this rush so much that you keep going for it. This could be something as simple as like having a soda because you want some caffeine and then getting it every day and then all of a sudden needing it every day. And it's like, dude, you don't need that much soda. Okay, you don't need to be drinking 2 to 3 things of soda a day. Like, have some water. So stuff like that. It's like it may seem really good in the moment, but over time it's not necessarily to your benefit. In large amounts, large volumes, it's definitely to your detriment. So that's just a small example. It can manifest it in different ways. It can manifest in different ways, but with the same vibe of, yeah, this is cool, this feels good at the time, but over time it's making me feel shitty. It's starting to have a negative effect on my life. This is not necessarily the best way to be. In some situations, this can lead to a bit of obsessive behavior. I feel like this could potentially be transmuted into creative endeavors because it's not necessarily the most constructive energy. It can actually be very distracting. But if you get to a point where it's like you can't think about much else, you still need to try to find the time or a way to transmute that into something. I.e., if you're thinking about something a lot, do something like, say, if you're creative, like do something creative, like let it be a push for you to do something creative. Let the way you feel be a push to do something productive. Try to switch it around. Otherwise, this could potentially, negatively impact your life. Whew. Okay. Okay. Let's see what's going on in your love life, Gemini. Okay. So you have the 3 swords. So you may be dealing with some heartache. Perhaps you and somebody have separated. Perhaps you and your partner are feeling very distant from each other. You're literally distant from each other for whatever reason, or just in general, you feel like distant. Like your partner's not necessarily connecting to you or confiding you in the same way, and it's pretty freaking heartbreaking. Like it's something that you can't stop thinking about. Like you can't stop thinking about wanting this distance and having a desire to close it, basically. If you're dealing with heartache, some of you may be dealing with a lot of heartache in relationship to your past relationships. And that may be something that you're really struggling to get past. You want to, but it hurts a lot. And then again, with this devil energy here that can be excessive, this can be really, you could potentially be really obsessing over what has gone wrong in your love life. And that could definitely get you to a very, very low point. in which case it could be productive to find ways to express those emotions, like again, in a productive manner, not in a way that's destructive. Um, because it's going to be difficult to deal with anyway. Um, and if you can find a way to be productive through it all, at least it won't be a complete waste of time, I guess you could say. That's what I'm going to say. All right, let's move on to Cancer. What is going on with Cancer over the next week? What kind of energy will Cancer encounter? What's going on with Cancer? What kind of energy will Cancer encounter over the next week? Excuse me. Cancer, you have the Eight of Pentacles. So you're going to be very work oriented this week, very, very focused on building things, literally and metaphorically. You're trying to be productive, if you will. You feel the desire to do so. There may be some difficulties that arise with what you are trying to achieve, but I believe your steadfastness and determination to get things done, it'll get you through. Get you through these extremely frustrating times. In the long run that all the stress and everything, it'll be worth it in the long run. Like the outcome of this effort is definitely worth the effort to you. To you, it is. I mean, like people external to you may not feel the same way, but you know what? Fuck them. It's not their life. All right, let's see what's going on in your love life, Cancer. What's going on in your love life, Cancer? Have you fallen in love? Okay. Cancer, you have the Tower here, so something unexpected has happened. Um, Perhaps, there was a sudden crumbling of a relationship, or you and a partner have started to go through a very difficult time, or you're enduring a difficult time together, and it's really shaking the foundation of your relationship and the way you interact in your love life. So it may catch you a little off guard. Like the things that this brings out of you might catch you a little bit off guard. I think it'll catch your partner off guard too. It's very important to be observant of how you both handle this, how you're able to work through this together. For some of you, what you thought about a relationship is just not it at all. You may be finding out that this was pretty much an illusion, a very grand illusion, and the truth may be finally coming out, and it's not necessarily the best one. But I think that no matter what happens, you're going to be able to work through these difficult feelings that you will inevitably encounter. Okay. Let's see what is going on with Leo. What is up, Leo? What kind of energy will Leo encounter over the next month? What's going on with Leo? Not month, week. What's going on with Leo in the next week? By the way, you guys, I post monthly videos on Patreon, so go check that out if you would like to. But let's see what's going on with Leo here and now. Okay. Leo, you have the Strength card. Um, you may be tested. Just various things. There could be various things going awry. So freaking annoying, driving you crazy, but you're trying to maintain your cool, you know? You don't want to get overly emotional about this situation. You don't want to be overly detached either. You're just trying to maintain control of your emotions while maintaining, I guess, an air of dignity, or feeling your emotions while maintaining an air of dignity. Um, I think that you feel as if you were to really let loose, um, things would get kind of crazy, and there's no telling what could really happen. So yeah, you may be holding yourself back a little bit. Just in general, though, I think you're feeling pretty confident in who you are as a person. Like you like yourself, which is really great. It's great. Um, no, it's Leo. Of course they like themselves. You know what? Not all Leos like themselves. You know, everybody has their own issues. But I think you may be getting to a point, if you were one of those people who did not like themselves, I think you may be getting to a point where you're like, okay, I'm kind of cool. I guess I am kind of cool. And that's great. That's beautiful. Okay. Like if you put your mind on something right now, if there is something you are going to put your mind to right now, you will definitely be able to channel this energy into that. So again, transmuting energy to make it turn it into something productive, changing things into something productive. All right, let's see what's going on in your love life, Leo. What's going on in Leo's love life? Leo, you have the King of Wands. So some of you may not be feeling very committal right now. You want to go out, you want to have fun, you want to get some booty. I mean, you don't care if it lasts. You're just living in the here and the now and trying to have a good time while you're doing it. Um, there are some situations, there is a danger of situations where you're extremely arrogant, extremely bossy, and not open to hearing anything anybody has to say. Um, and yeah, that could turn bad very quickly, especially if like there's some sort of I feel like I need to say like alcohol and drugs involved. The the your ego will take over, basically, and you will be functioning driven by your ego if you're not careful. Otherwise, if you are in a partnership, you and your partner may be dealing with going through a very passionate time in your relationship. Um, but this could also be like, the way you're interacting as well as being intimate. So, um, lots of emotion. You're feeling a lot of emotion when you speak. So you feel very strongly for this person. It's not like you don't really care. Um, you just may be taking things a little bit less serious than usual right now, and that could be causing some issues. All right, let's move on and see what is going on with my Virgos. What is up, Virgo gang? What is going on with Virgo over the next week? What kind of energy will Virgo encounter over the next week? What's going on with my Virgos? We have the Queen of Pentacles. So you're going to be very focused on your work, very focused on your responsibility, taking care of everything you need to in the home, taking care of yourself, making sure everybody is provided for. You want to be able to maintain the status quo and then have some. And so if you are not already in this place, this is a place that you are striving to be in. I think that you're feeling really good about where you're going in life. I think you have a really good idea of what you want. I think that's something that you have struggled with before. But I think you're starting to find yourself in a place where, yeah, you're having a better idea of what you want and actively doing what you need to do to bring this into reality. Let's see what's going on in your love life, Virgo. What is going on in Virgo's love life over the next week? What kind of energy will Virgo encounter in their love life over the next week? What's going on with the Virgo gang? Virgo, you have the star here. So you may find yourself healing from some difficult times in either your current relationship or a past relationship. There's a lot of heartache, a lot of drama, but you're hoping to get past it into a better place. You're feeling a little bit more optimistic about your love life in general, whether you are in a relationship with somebody or single. You're feeling a little bit more optimistic because you're starting to heal. All the things that have hurt you in the past, you're starting to learn from these things and recognize how they were necessary to lead you where you are now, and that you need to be where you are now, and that you kind of maybe like where you are now. So, it's okay that things worked out the way they did, and you're feeling, good about where they will go in the future because you know that whatever you encounter in regards to your love life moving forward, you know that there's always going to be a purpose behind it, even if that purpose is not staying together long term. There is still going to be a purpose behind the experience. It is leading you somewhere, and you're just kind of feeling more optimistic in general about that. Perhaps like in the past, you're more detached from the whole concept of love, perhaps. But now, you're feeling a little bit more optimistic about things, and at the very least, working to heal the heartache that you've dealt with in the past. So, but again, if you're in a relationship, you and your partner may be at a very good point after dealing with a very difficult time, and lots of positivity about where the relationship is headed. Interesting. Okay. Let's see what is going on with Libra. What is going on with my Libras over the next week? What kind of energy will my Libras encounter over the next week? What's going on with Libra over the next week? Libra, you have the Page of Wands, so you may be feeling very talkative, maybe even a little flirty. You have a lot of ideas. You may want to communicate these to other people, see what they think about it, because it's like these are things that you're not fully confident in yet, but you feel like they're really good ideas. And so other people's perspective and viewpoint of this is very important to you in regards to how you're going to move forward. You could be dealing with some conversations that could go awry, that could get extremely petty, but I think these things will kind of fade away as quickly as they happen. It's just they're going to be happening like more quickly than usual. You're going to be a little bit more quick to be petty, basically. You're not in the mood to take anybody's mess right now. You have no time for it. Let's see what's going on in your love life, Libra. What is going on in Libra's love life over the next week? Libra, you have the Nine of Cups. So you may be deciding what you want, finally getting what you want from a relationship in a relationship, and moving forward, which you're very happy about. It's been ideal. Some of you may unfortunately get the bad news that things are not working out in the way that you would like. Um, Again, communication could quickly go awry between you and somebody, kind of depending on how y'all communicate in general. There could be some misunderstandings that lead to some very intense feelings. Things may be said that can't really be gone back from. And so it's kind of like, okay, this isn't the way you wanted things to be, but this is kind of how things are happening. And it sucks, but it's just the way it is right now. And I think that you don't know how to change it. I think you want to change it, but you don't know how to change it. Don't ask me, I don't know. Okay, let's see what's going on with Scorpio. What is going on with Scorpio over the next week? What kind of energy will Scorpio encounter over the next week? Okay, we have the Nine of Swords. So you may be dealing with a lot of stress, a lot of anxiety, a lot of sleepless nights. You may be having a very difficult time eating, and as a result, you may be feeling sick. You benefit from drinking lots of water at this time, at least if you can't eat, if your stomach gets unbearably, like if you start having pains, but you just can't hold anything down, maybe try drinking some milk because that might help a little bit. But it's even hard for you to even do that. You're just having a really difficult time right now. You don't want anybody to know this. You don't want anybody to see this. So you may be trying to kind of keep to yourself, but you're having a little breakdown. Whether it's breaking through the barrier or staying underneath the surface, you're still having this little breakdown. You're having a very difficult time this week. Try not to completely lose your shit and be patient with yourself. Let's see what's going on in your love life, Scorpio. Let's see what else is going on with you. What's going on in Scorpio's love life over the next week? Scorpio, you have the Queen of Swords. So you and or your partner may seem a little bit detached. You're not really connecting the way you would like to. And you're starting to feel, if you're not already, very insecure about where you stand with your partner. Because they're just not really showing any type of affection. And this could be causing issues. Perhaps you don't know how to express how you feel and you're kind of acting some type of way um, in a form of expressing it, but it's not necessarily conductive to the situation, conducive, whatever. Um, and it's just, you may feel like no matter what you do and how you try to come at the situation, you're being met with kind of just an icy reaction, almost as if you are speaking to a wall, and that can be very, very upsetting and frustrating to you. You can't read this person. You don't like that you can't read this situation. Especially since you have a tendency to be intuitive, very intuitive, good at reading situations. This one you can't read this person, and it's really stressing you out. It's really stressing you out, and you're really feeling insecure. And what needs to happen here is you need to figure out a way to address this, express yourself. Don't be so afraid of being vulnerable, because a lot of times it's the fear of vulnerability that will cause us to do things that are detrimental to our relationships. So if you're trying to avoid that, if you're actually trying to make this thing work, you gotta be a little vulnerable. You have to take that risk. And if things don't work out the way you want them to, at least you know. And you can deal with the heartache that comes with it and leave it behind you and clear out room for somebody who does feel the same about you as you do about them. All right. There are also some situations where people may be trying to connect with you, and you're just too caught up in your own head and your own drama, whatever that may be it what's going on in your life, your relationship history, whatever. You're just so caught up in your own drama that you really are just not receptive to anyone who may be trying to get to know you or anything like that. Very icy. All right, Sagittarius. What's going on, Sagittarius? What kind of energy will Sagittarius encounter over the next week? What is going on with Sagittarius? What kind of energy will Sagittarius encounter? We have Judgment. You are making very important decisions right now. You're having to cut some things out. You're having to leave some things behind. This may be very difficult for you, but it's time. It's overdue. It's long overdue, actually, for you to let this shit go and leave it behind you. Um, Holding on to this has kept you stagnant. If you have wondered why you have been stagnant, it's because you're holding on to this. So you got to let it go in order to grow. And I think you may be finally at the point where you're starting to understand and realize this. See what's going on in your love life. going on in your love life, Sagittarius? What kind of energy will Saggy encounter in their love life? Okay, so Sagittarius, you have the Chariot. You may be looking for something quick and easy. Perhaps you're traveling and you may be one of those people that's like putting up an ad like, hey, I'm in town for one night only, let's hook up. One night only, as if it's a sale. Hell, it is a sale as far as you're concerned, because, I mean, get it now. Get it now while you can, or the offer no longer stands. The offer comes with more caveats. So get it now while you can. Oh my gosh, Sagittarius. Um, I think there are some of you that just you aren't really taking things too seriously in your love life. You're just trying to have fun. Some of you are trying to move on from one person by getting under somebody else. Um, that kind of vibe. You know, you're leaving things behind, and you are freaking leaving things behind with a bang. You're going all out. You're just not the same person you used to be, and that may not be compatible with the person you are with. Um, and you may be starting to realize that it is time to move on, because that person that you were that was compatible was not in a healthy state of mind. It was not you at your best state. And so it's kind of like, okay, you know, if your vibe attracts your tribe, and I was on a really bad vibe, you know, I'm not on that vibe anymore, but they still are. So it may be a situation where you're realizing, okay, I need to be around more like-minded people. And in the meantime, I'm just going to have fun. So until you finally connect with somebody who's kind of like-minded, you're just out to have fun. Maybe going on like vacations, road trips, whatever, trying to meet random people. Got hoes in different area codes, if you will. Anyways, what is up with my mouse? Okay, it's okay. It is not needed. All right, let's move on to my Cappies. What is up, Capricorn? What's going on with you this week? Let's see what's going on with my Capricorns over the next week. What kind of energy will Capricorn encounter over the next week? Capricorn, you have the Queen of Wands. I'm feeling good. Nina Simone, I'm feeling good. You are just finding ways to appreciate each moment in life. You may be focusing more on those things than the negative things. Everything's more beautiful to you. You're seeing things differently. As a result of this, you are feeling more you than you ever have been. You're feeling great, you're feeling confident, you're feeling beautiful, you're feeling strong, feeling independent. And you're ready to get shit done, because you have ideas that you know are going to kick ass, they're going to get you far, and you're ready to get things done, because it's like you've got the energy, you have the drive, you have the inspiration. So it's like you want to take advantage of it now. But you could there could be some instances where you get so excited that you kind of ignore other people's input, and their input might actually be very important. So try not to do that. Let's see what's going on in your love life, Capricorn. What's going on in Capricorn's love life over the next week? What's going on in Capricorn's love life? We have the Ace of Pentacles. So you may have met somebody new that you feel really good about. You feel like you actually have a connection with this person, a genuine connection, not like just an infatuation. Some of you may be starting over after a difficult period with your partner. So you may be entering a new phase where you have grown from the previous one. It's very exciting. You've learned things from your past experiences that has actually enriched your relationship. So it may have been not so great in the past, but like y'all came to an understanding as a result of this difficulty, and now closer than ever. Now, there will be some of you who you feel like there was some sort of missed opportunity or something that kind of started. You thought it was going somewhere, and then it just didn't really work out. And that's disappointing, but I think even though that is disappointing, you're still okay with it. You're still okay with life because you're feeling yourself. That is a really good place to be at. It's a really wonderful place to be at, Capricorn. I think some of you who may be struggling to be in that place are fighting hard to get there. All right, let's see what is going on with Aquarius. What is going on with my Aquarians over the next week? What kind of energy will Aquarius encounter over the next week? What is going on with Aquarius? What kind of energy will Aquarius encounter? Aquarius, you have the Eight of Swords here. You're feeling kind of stuck, like you can't really make progress, or you're not making the progress you want to. You're not really seeing anything you can do in the moment to change the situation. You may even be falling victim to victim mentality. So just kind of try not to get super caught up in a pity party. It's okay to feel your emotions if you feel bad and whatnot. It's actually very important to you for you to allow yourself to feel your emotions, experience them. But it's equally, if not more important, to not allow yourself to wallow there. Very, very important. So like right now, you're just at a point where you really feel like there's not much you can do. And even if people kind of come to you with suggestions or like, hey, you could do this or you can do this, you're like, no, that's not an option because of this. So it's like you're really feeling kind of stuck this week. Let's see what's going on in your love life, Aquarius. What is going on in Aquarius's love life over the next week? What is going on with Aquarius in their love life over the next week? We have the Six of Swords. So you're in a point in your relationship where there are some things you have to leave behind. If you want this relationship to continue, You want this relationship to work. You've really got to leave the past behind you. This may have been something, or maybe something you're having a really hard time with. You may be having a really hard time letting go of the things that have happened in the past. But you want to. You want to move beyond this. You want to move forward. Like, you don't want these things to hold you back. You feel like it may be holding you back from connecting with somebody. And I think you really have a desire to connect with somebody right now. But that maybe you haven't completely let go of some other things with other people. And, that's something that needs to happen before you can really start something new of value. Like, if you want to have something of value, you really need to do this to be in the best possible place for your future partner, so that you can give them you instead of you with remnants of somebody else. So you may be trying to move beyond those things as well. All right. That is it for you, Aquarius, and on to my patient Pisces. What is up, my dear Pisces? Let's see what's going on in your world over the next week. What's going on with Pisces over the next week? What kind of energy will Pisces encounter over the next week, and how will it affect them? What's going on with Pisces? Pisces, you have the Judgment card. So you're in a place in your life where it's time to let go of some things. The things of old, the things from the past, the things from your youth that you've been hanging on to. It's time to let it go, let it go, let it go. Otherwise, bag lady, you gonna hurt your back dragging all them bags around like that. Okay, I'm corny. It's a good song though. Anyways, in order for you to truly have a fresh start moving forward, you have to leave a lot of stuff behind. You have to let things die. You have to let it go. So you may have been struggling with things that have happened in the past, and it's been dragging you down. It's dragging you down, and you're at a very pivotal. I always say pivotable. I'm gonna make it a new word. You're at a very pivotal moment in your life where you're like, okay, it's time. It's time. If I have any hope moving forward, it's time. I can't let this continue to affect me any longer. Things are changing. You're starting to see your life differently. You're starting to see your present and your potential future differently. It's not how you have previously perceived things. In order to move forward in this direction, in this new direction that seems to be looking good for you, you gotta let the old shit die, and that can be very difficult for you. All right, let's see what's going on in your love life, Pisces. What is going on in Pisces' love life over the next week? What kind of energy will Pisces encounter in their love life over the next week? Okay, Pisces, you have the Ten of Wands. So you have a lot on your mind. Whether you are single or committed, you have a lot on your mind. There's a lot that you really, you can't stop thinking about. You may be feeling like you're carrying the burden of the relationship. Perhaps you feel like you're putting all the time and effort, energy into it, you're not getting it in return, and you're not really sure how to handle this situation because you don't want to walk away from it, but it's like that is the logical conclusion, right? I mean, that's the logical conclusion. If you're putting all this time and effort, energy into a relationship and not getting any bit of reciprocation, I mean, the natural conclusion would be to remove yourself from the situation. But you don't want to do that. So you may be trying really hard to figure out another option. Sorry, I'm not laughing at you. I'm just laughing at the way I'm expressing things. If you are single, you really can't stop thinking about the things that have gone bad in your love life, unfortunately. And you may even be focusing that more on yourself and your behavior, and that could be potentially detrimental. It's one thing to recognize and acknowledge when you have contributed negatively to a relationship. It's another situation to kind of blame yourself for everything and be self-deprecating as a result. And I think there's a fine line. There can be a fine line there. So try to be careful not to cross it. Right? Okay. Those are your readings for the next week. I hope y'all enjoyed them. And come back next week. All right, you guys. I will see y'all again then.